So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. If you can get me, kindly indicate in the chat. If you can get me, kindly indicate in the chat. If you can get me, kindly type yes in the chat. Perfect. Good evening once again, and you're welcome to the day 12 of our African Digital Summit. So today, we are going to be welcoming 3 speakers. So it's just a continuation of our African Digital Conference. So we'll be welcoming 3 powerful speakers, and they will be delivering a very inspiring message on the theme marketing, research, and product launch. And today's focus is very simple and powerful, as we are talking about how to get your message right, understand the market, and build strong communities around your product. So we have 3 incredible speakers who will be coming up one at a time. The first speaker we are going to have is Mr. Nongki Derick, Njiah, who will show us how to use content marketing and research to better understand our audience and build strategies that actually work. Then we're going to have Ngumswirri Albertine, who will guide us through practical SEO tools and how African businesses can use them to improve their online presence and reach more people. Then finally, we are going to wrap up with a session by Madame Leah on community building and influencer marketing, showing us how strong communities and the right partnership can drive results, can drive real results. So each of these speakers, they bring real experience, tested strategies, and insights that you can apply right away, see how to improve on your businesses. If you're excited to welcome these speakers, just kindly type yes, yes in the chat. If you're excited, let's get the yeses coming in the chat before we introduce the first speaker. If you're ready, kindly indicate in the chat. All right, perfect. So our first speaker for today is someone who's been quietly shaping the way brands communicate and grow across Africa, and that's Mr. Derick Njiah. So Mr. Derick is a CPD and a Google certified digital marketing expert and consultant, and a digital marketing professional with a strong track record in content strategy, market research, and digital transformation. He's worked with Spark Afrique as a digital marketing specialist and served as the chief marketing officer at the African Inclusive Institute of Public Speaking. He currently serves as a digital consultant at Tata Group Institute, where he leads the expansion of TGI's digital agency in Cameroon. What sets Derick apart is his ability to connect strategy with execution, whether it's building a brand voice from scratch, running research to understand audience behavior, or designing a full campaign that converts, it brings clarity, creativity, and structure to the table. Today, he will be speaking on a topic that cuts right to the core of effective marketing, which is how to create content that works and how to identify and understand your market and how to turn all the insights into real business results. Please join me as we welcome to the stage. Derick, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Tamon. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I can hear myself or you can hear me. If you can hear me, please kindly indicate yes in the chat area if you can hear me. Awesome. I don't know if I will be able to do this. Awesome. So we'll be talking about content marketing and target market research briefly, strategies that will keep you burning as a digital marketing professional, as gurus who want to see themselves high in various industries across Africa, especially within the space, the chaotic blizzard, which is the internet. And real quick to start, uh, marketing is in general is fundamentally a skill that can change the trajectory of everyone's life. And I believe that is more or less a skill that anybody should acquire. Because regardless of the career path that you choose for yourself in life, you're going to find yourself in some way in either marketing yourself or marketing a business. And so all marketing efforts, whether branding, whether content creation or advertising or even lead generation, all are designed to lead to sales. And that is why we call it marketing. And today, majoring on content marketing, we're talking about even valuable content marketing to be precise. I want to keep it simple within the few minutes we have, so that you can have the opportunity to be able to just picture some things. I'm sorry, but if you see me looking left and right, it's because I can't hear myself, and I wanted to be proper about the whole situation here. Okay, this is fine. So let's be clear on what we are talking about. And content is the words on the pages you are reading every day. Every form of content can present itself in any form, okay? Whether it's a book you're currently reading, whether it's you scrolling through the feed on Facebook or on any online or social media platform, that is content you're currently scrolling through. Or just that information you posted on the blog last night is content, okay? And the videos or the images you're currently sharing about the African Digital Conference is actually content you're distributing on different social media platforms. So when we are talking about content, we just mean words and knowledge, or we just simply mean information. Now, valuable content now is simply supercharged content. It is supercharged content because it is content with a bigger purpose. Useful information created for a particular audience, content that hits the mark. When it comes to valuable content, there is an objective attached to it. There is a specific people to whom the content is sent to. It isn't just created as information, unlike any kind of thing it's not just a random blog you will find out there. It's not just a newspaper or a random newspaper thrown anywhere. But when it comes to valuable content, it is content with a bigger purpose. So by value or by valuable content, we mean the words, the knowledge, and the information you choose to share, you choose to shape and share to your customers and clients. When content is valuable, the words, when content is valuable, the words, the knowledge, or the information is tailored or shaped to a specific audience. And those audience could be your customers or your clients, whoever they are to your industry. The information is valuable because it is directed to those particular set of people. So content that is valuable isn't just any kind of information, but content that will make your audience think. It is content that will make them laugh. It is content that will inspire them. It is something that is going to teach them probably something new in an entertaining manner, right? And of course, it is something that is going to permit them to be able to remember you. It's going to help them remember you over time. So to be valuable, content must have uniqueness at the client's level, and it must be meaningful. If your content must be valuable, it has to be unique at the client's level, and it has to carry meaning along. It has to carry meaning along. So before embarking on marketing your business with content, in fact, before you embark on marketing your business with content, you need to understand that you need to understand what makes certain types of content valuable. And of course, you have to be able to distinguish why some certain type of content doesn't just hit the mark when it comes to your target market or your ideal audience. I want to be brief as much as possible. So here is a quick quality control guide to help you. I'm going to give you some points that will help you be able to fast track your content or fast track content that is valuable to your market or to your particular industry or set of audience you're targeting. Valuable content is useful. That's the first thing you have to know. It educates. It has to be content that educates. It has to be content that informs or entertains. For those of you who are into the market and you're starting off in your career in content creation or so, and you're starting and you major on maybe blog posting or video content creation, you will understand that evergreen content is power, because that is content you can refer to years ahead. So valuable content must be useful. It has to be tailored towards an objective. So it has a focus. Valuable content is useful. Valuable content is focused. So it is relevant and meaningful to its target audience. Content that has no focus will definitely doesn't have any relevance to any audience. So focused content is that kind of content that is relevant and meaningful to its target audience. And of course, it should be clear and meaningful. Have a clear and compelling message to pass to your ideal audience. Your content should be able to tell a story that people understand and respond to. Your content should be able to tell a story that your audience understand and respond to, whichever market it is you find yourself. If you're just a social media enthusiast and you're majoring into different social media platforms, say Facebook, say Instagram, TikTok, and the rest, you should be able to tell which kind of content audience likely to relate with the most as far as different social media handles are concerned. If it is YouTube, you know automatically that you'll be able to support long form content as far as YouTube is concerned. Now, when it comes down to the kind of audience you're looking to target as far as YouTube is concerned, then you will know which objective to measure on. So, valuable content is which kind of content? Is focused content. It is content that is clear and compelling. In your content, you tell compelling story. You tell stories that are clear, stories that your target market or your industry can easily resonate with. Your audience should find themselves in the content you are sharing. Valuable content is, of course, high quality content. It is interesting, well produced with substance. You don't just sit and you pick any kind of crappy thing anywhere and you begin to share, you begin to push it out to your audience or to your target market, whatever it is. Except you don't know what you're doing and you're just trying every kind of crappy form of content from left and right. The advice is to craft it, package it well. Package it well. High quality content is interesting. It is well produced with substance. So valuable content is also genuine. It is also genuine content. Don't tell stories that are not true. Don't say, I don't know how to put it. It is written from the heart by people who care. You should share things that a man that you can yourself you can easily tie with. If it is an experience, how is the experience you're sharing actually related to the business you're running right now? How is the experience you're sharing actually related to your life? How has it influenced you? How important is it? Why should we care? Why are you telling that story right now? So it should be genuine. So valuable content is useful. Valuable content is focused content. Valuable content is clear and compelling. Valuable content is high quality, and valuable content is what? Genuine. Remember, I started by letting you know that content is just information, is the words on the page you are currently on the page of that book you're currently reading right now. It is any form of information you're sharing, either image, video on any social media platform, or even from your phone to the next person. That is content. But when it comes to valuable content, it is supercharged content. Valuable content is supercharged content with a bigger purpose. It is useful information created for a particular audience. And that is why it has to be useful. It has to be focused. It has to be clear and compelling. It has to be of high quality. And of course, it has to be genuine. So in any combination, the attributes that I just mentioned, from just the kind of content that gets read, shared, and acted upon, businesses that really win exhibit all these qualities across various social media platforms that you find out there. And most successful businesses that you find out there are focused on not only being in the order business, but every successful business wants to be in the reorder business. So you want to be in a position where your clients are worth more to you, so that even when it comes to the paid part of your marketing, you will want to spend more money to go ahead and acquire those clients. Not only acquiring them, being able to service them, have team members come and service them for you to be able to make more money, and of course, be able to pay for your team. Because marketing is not only in acquiring and retaining customers, but it's also in being able to deliver on the promise you've given them. So valuable content should be content that has a big purpose with a focus to deliver. I wanted to keep this as brief as much as possible as I can, because if you understand this, then you will be able to go into or start your content marketing journey, or maybe your rebrand your journey of rebranding your business, your whatever it is, your maybe a new niche. If you're in the journey of starting content marketing properly, then these things should stick deep into your health, into your head. You know, we say that content marketing then is a strategic marketing approach focused on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and engage a clearly defined audience. And ultimately, it is to do what? To drive profitable customer action. If you did not get anything from the ADC conference this year, this you should take home. And during our physical event, you will be getting more. The Data Group Institute has given you the opportunity to grab this information for free. Nothing should be taken for granted. And that said, without any ado, I'm going to jump to the second part of what I had for you tonight, just to tickle your mind a little bit again on what target market research is all about. because content marketing is good. Creating valuable content is an amazing thing as a business, as a brand. But if you don't, or even as an organization, wherever you are right now, as far as your career is concerned in digital marketing, but if you don't understand the market you are dealing with, you will be throwing water on the dead's back. So, what is target market research? Target market research is simply a strategic process used by businesses to identify and analyze specific groups of consumers who are most likely to purchase their products or services. It's a strategic approach, right? Used by businesses to identify and analyze specific groups of customers who are most likely to purchase their products or services. And under target market research, we're going to talk about three major things. And the first thing we're going to talk about is product research. We're going to talk about target buyer personas or audience persona, or who I'm going to show you how you can determine or create great customer avatars for your businesses. And in the last place, we're going to touch a little bit of competitive analysis, and I'll be ending tonight. So the importance of target market research, the first thing that target market research will do to your business is that it will help you to better understand your customer. It helps to improve marketing effectiveness. It enhances your product management or development process, whether it's a digital product, whether it's a service, whether it is a physical product, whatever it is. It helps you to be more efficient at resource allocation, and it helps you to deal well as far as competitive advantage. It takes you to, it places you at the place of competitive advantage, where your competitors are lagging, you thrive ahead and you sail high beyond them because you understand the market better than they do. And of course, it helps to be able to do what we call market segmentation and targeting properly. Those are the things that target market research will do for you. What proper target market research will do for you. And for great digital marketers, professionals in this conference, you will understand that I think if I want to ask a question, I want to know, if you are a digital marketer in this conference, please put a 1 in the chat area real quick. If you're a digital marketer, whether you're a professional or just a beginner, you work for any company, just put a 1 in the chat area. Now, okay, it seems we do not have digital marketers in the conference. So what? I can't see any reactions. I don't know if it's my screen, but then it's okay. So if I was to ask, how many of you, before running a social media campaign or before you start off a new content marketing program or procedure, you do a market research to know which
Mr. Derick, you have
kind of
4 more minutes, please.
Okay. You do a target market research to know which content is likely to perform best as far as your business is concerned. If I was to ask that question, I'm sure that we will have less than 30% of the conference who will actually show a sign that they do that. And what I am going to say is, I think, real quick, product research is very important because it helps you to be able to gather and analyze information that will help you to develop your product or to improve on existing ones. Those are for people who are venturing into products. But since I am left with a little bit with no more time, I'm going to jump to the most important part, which I want to give you guys just in 2 minutes. And that is how to define your target audience persona. And target audience persona is also known as buyer persona, which is a semi-fictional representation of an ideal customer based on market research and real data about existing customers. So you determine what you want your ideal customer to look like. And basically the questions you are answering is, you want to respond to these questions. What are their hopes, dreams, and desires? What do they seek to achieve in the market you are looking to target? Where do they hang out and congregate? First of all, you locate where they are found. What does a day in your dream buyer's life look like? And what is their preferred form of communication? So when you have been able to answer to this, provide probable answer to these questions, then only then you then want to go ahead and craft or tailor your marketing in a way that will help you to get enough throughput across your funnel. Your funnel could be your website, whatever means it is you get to various people who are interested in the products and services that you offer, whether they are products and services or they are just free organizational educational programs. I really wished that we had enough time to crush what we had for you at the Africa Digital Conference, but I believe with what you had on content marketing is going to help you stand out. See you during the physical event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Derick, Njiah, for that explicit insight on content marketing and research. So we'll get back to you when it's time for a Q&A session. So our next speaker brings a powerful blend of digital expertise and grassroots impact. And this next speaker is no other person than Ngumswirri Albertine, who is a digital marketer, a social media strategist, and a web developer who uses her skill to build capacity and create real change. As the managing director of Fala ICT Institute, she is helping young people gain the tools they need to succeed in a fast-moving digital economy. She also manages social media handles for Empower Her Plus 237, a non-profit organization focused on equipping young women with a career and life skills they need to thrive. So whether through her freelance work, where she helps businesses grow their digital presence, or in the classroom as a digital marketing tutor, Ngumswirri is consistently making tech more accessible and practical. In today's session, she will be walking us through how search engine optimization or SEO tools can be used to scale businesses across Africa and how digital platforms are opening new doors for education, entrepreneurship, and visibility. Join me as we welcome Ngumswirri on the spotlight. Thank you. I don't know if she's available. Yes, we cannot get you. Check your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Tamon, for that powerful introduction. It's an honor for me to be part of this conference. It's actually my first visual conference. I'm happy to share and also learn from the other powerful speakers. So today, the topic for today is market research and product launch, and I'll be integrating SEO into our discussion. In today's digital world, we all know that both the big businesses and the small business owners, they everybody has an objective for being on the media. So looking on why you want to use the media, it is going to direct you on which platforms you should be on and the various tools that you should use to achieve those goals that you have. In today's digital world, companies ensure that their products not only meet customer needs, but also get found by them. How is this possible? These different companies have to do market research, which is the foundation for understanding customer needs and preferences. And after you have done a proper market research, you will need to launch your product. You don't just get into the market like that. You have to get into the market strategically. There's this saying that they always say, either go big or go home. So when you have developed the right idea, you have chosen the platform, you have to develop a strategy to introduce your product to the community. SEO now is a critical component to make sure that your product, after coming up with all the various strategies, get your online visibility and driving organic traffic to support product launch and successes. We all know that there's so many other tools that you can use. You can either use the paid or the organic, but SEO talks about us introducing our product using organic methods. To get started, we all know that when you are about to use a product, for example, I'm a lady, when you want to try out a new cosmetic product, you want to go to the various social media platforms to look on the various reviews that that product has. Based on the reviews that people have given, you decide whether you use that product or not. Now, talking about market research, what is it all about? It just involves gathering information to inform, it just involves you gathering information so you can make decisions about your business, identifying your target audience, the people that are interested in either your product or services, their online behavior. When they go on these online platforms, what are the various things that they search for, the various keywords that they use? Having the right keywords either on your social media platforms or on your website is going to go a long way to make sure that their search term and your keyword aligns so that your product or services can come up and you meet your objectives for being on these various social media platforms. What are the common search terms potential customers use when looking for a product like ours? Some tools that you can actually use to know what people are looking for. You have the Google Keyword Planner and Answer the Public. Answer the Public is actually free. You get to know, you can actually filter your results to know what the people around you in your community are looking for. It is going to guide you in your business to know the kind of content to create and also how to approach your customers in the market. After you have identified the problem or the various things that people who come to the social media platforms and our websites are looking for, the next step we have to do is to plan a research, which involves a step-by-step method, keyword research, competitive SEO, and website traffic analysis. Some tools that you can use to do this, you have the Ahrefs and the SEMrush. When you have a plan, when you have planned out your research, the next step is to gather the information. To gather the information, you can use tools like Google Analytics and Google Search Console, which you can do the indexation and add that to your website. When you gather your information, you need to analyze the information to know which other action you have to take. And in order for you to analyze your information, you can use tools like Excel or the Google Sheet to draft out graphs that can easily be interpreted by just every other person, and then you draw your conclusions. So when we're talking about search engine strategies, keyword is a vital part in developing the question and making sure that your product are actually solutions in solving customers' demand. So I have come to the end of my introduction. I really wanted to keep it very short and make sure that I don't overcrowd you with information. So I can just round up to say that search engine on websites and search engine on social media platforms are completely different in the manner that you approach it, but all of it has to talk about using the right keywords and maximizing the tools. Make sure to use the tools that are available to you and don't really focus on the paid tools. If you know how to do a very good keyword research, your content or product, your content is going to reach the right audience you are trying to target. Thank you, Mr. Tamon.
Thank you very much for that insight on search engine optimization. I believe that our audience now understand what search engine optimization is and how you can optimize your website or your social media handles to be able to get the best results. So we'll get back to you, Madam Ngumswirri Albertine, during the Q&A session. So our next speaker for tonight brings deep experience in digital marketing and a strong voice for youth empowerment. And it's no other person than Madam Leah Ogunleye. So Madam Leah is a social media strategist, content marketer, and community builder with a track record of helping brands grow and connect with purpose. She has worked across industries, delivering digital campaigns, product launches, and influencer partnership that drives real results. Her work goes beyond just marketing. She's known for building online communities that last and creating space for young people to grow, learn, and lead. Leah also is a digital marketing instructor at Go My Code, where she trains future marketers and share practical strategies that go straight from the classroom to the real world. Today, she's leading a workshop, or she will be talking on community building and influencer marketing, a practical hands-on session where she will break down how businesses and creators can build strong relationships, drive brand loyalty, and grow through authentic engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome Madame Leah to the spotlight. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this night. Without wasting much of our time, I'll just go into the topic, which is community building and influencer marketing. I know some of us here might belong to one community or the other based on the influencer that you follow or based on businesses that you've patronized in the past. But how can business owners or digital creators make use of community building and influencer marketing? So I'll just be explaining briefly on what community building is. It's the process of creating a space online or offline. So community building can happen either online or offline. So it's a place where, just like the word community, when you hear community, you think what should come to your mind. The first thing that comes to your mind, oh, is a community of people, maybe a village or a setting, people that share the same value in the same geographical location. But bringing it to the online space now, in the digital world, what is community building and what does it mean? So it's a process of creating a space, either online or offline, where people share same interests, values, and they come together to support, connect, and grow with one another. That is what community is all about. So in simple terms, it's about bringing people together that have same values. It could be same values, same culture, to connect and to support one another. And community building is also bringing people together, building relationships around your brand, message, or purpose, not just selling to them, but you are bringing people together to build relationship. As a business owner, as a digital creator, you are bringing people together to build relationship. That is the main focus of community building. Examples of community building platforms that we have. So we have Facebook groups where business owners can share tips and support each other. If you go on Facebook now, you see various groups for different communities. We have Telegram and WhatsApp group that can also be used for community building. We also have hosting questions and hosting a QA session or a live video where people can interact and feel seen, creating content that starts a conversation, not just to promote a product. And moving on to looking at the power of community in marketing and product launch. There's a saying that says you don't build a business, you build a community. And it's not just about you build a community and your community build your business. So community comes first before building your business, because it's the community that will help you build your business. And let's look at why community matters. Because number one is trust. People trust people. People buy from who they trust. Before you even sell, before you launch a new product, you want to build your community. It could be your community members who can also be your followers, can be your customers, right? Can also be potential customers that not even buying from you yet. But why community matters? The first thing is to build trust. If you have shared values, they can easily trust you. It's build trust. There is loyalty. Strong communities are not just transactional. It's usually transformational. And there is insight. So you can easily get feedback from your community. If you want to launch a new product, or even as a digital creator, you want to launch a digital product, you can easily get feedback from your community. You can test your products before launching, because you have a strong community that is going to give you a sincere feedback. And there's also organic reach. Just because they believe in what you are saying, they are going to tell other people about you, about your products, or about what you stand for. So for instance, now there is a particular lady here in Nigeria. I believe our audience are from different places in Africa. So there is a particular, I don't know if you know, you can drop a comment in the comment section, in the chat box, if you know the person I want to talk about. So an example I'm going to use is Olori Tomike. She's a big influencer here in Nigeria, and she has a community. She has been able to build the community over time, because and this community has a buying power. Whatever she sells to her community, these people are ready to buy and also tell other people to buy, because they have trust in this influencer. And there's even, she has built the community to an extent that they usually have a community party once in a year, that they even pick a shebi, which is a particular, like they pick a material for every one of the community member to represent with. That's the power of community. Then moving on to building a community with intention. You don't just want to put people together and just do it your own way. You should be able to build a community with intention. There's no community without intentionality. And there is a framework that I'm going to be sharing this time, which is CORE, C-O-R-A. C stands for clarity, O for offer value, R relatable, relate authentically, and E empower growth. I'm going to take that again. C for clarity, O for offer value, R for relate authentically, and E for empower growth. So for clarity, before you even start building your community, you have to be clear. Why do I want to build this community? What are my missions? What are my values? What kind of people do I want to attract? Right? If you're a digital marketer, right? Do you want to be the go-to for beginner digital marketers? If you're a skincare brand, do you want to be the go-to for people that has skincare, that need skincare, right? So you have to be clear on what you want to do with your community, your values, your mission. What do you want to be known for? What are the kind of people that you want to attract? That's your clarity. Moving on to offer. Give before you ask. I think that's the problem here, because businesses and digital creators, we just want to make money, sell online, and get revenue before building that relationship. But the first thing is give before you ask. Provide, if it's free trainings that you can provide, if it's educational content that you can share, your behind the scene, share relatable content. People want to feel connected to you, because people only buy from you they trust, and someone that has been showing up over and over again. So you want to offer value and relate authentically, be human. People can see through. Forget the fact that everything online is not true these days, but genuine people can still see through you. If you are faking it or you are just trying to be someone else, just be you, be human, share your stories, your struggles, celebrate birthdays, be personal, right? That's a way to build connections with your community and empower growth. Challenge your community to evolve, create opportunity for them to shine. Ask, what can we do together? What can we what Ask, what can we do together, pardon me, and what we cannot do together. Just ask them questions, right? Then moving on to the next one, which is actionable community tactics. What are the tactics that you can use to build your community? The first thing is you can always share inside jokes with your community member, so that whenever you talk about a particular thing, your community member have that power to say, oh, I've heard this thing before. Oh, this is how we sound in our community. This is what we talk about. It's more like a slang or a slogan. We know so many communities with their words or what they say right today, because they have their inside you can always share inside jokes for your community member. That's the way to be community. They kind of feel a connection with you. Nicknames, just like the example that I was giving, Tomike usually call herself Oloriebi, right? So that's a nickname. There's always another girl on TikTok, Adeife. Whenever she wants to start her content, she says, oh, this is for my girlies and my girlies alone. So that's like a way to build connection, right? And then whenever she says that, people in the comments also respond. People has known her for that particular tagline or phrases, or exclusive to only your community member. That's another tactic you can use. Another thing is use interactive content. You can you can use poll, quizzes, question and answers. You can spotlight community members of the week, share your journey, your success story, collaborate, celebrate milestones. When you are celebrating your 1K followers, 100 downloads, 1,000 sales, celebrate your milestone and also celebrate your community members. Create gated content like newsletters to your community members. We have so many newsletter platforms now that you can use to build your community, right? Because when you send your newsletter, they feel connected. This is the information that you're sending through newsletter is not just the regular one that you share on other platforms, or you will tell about them on social media platforms. That is what you can use. You can also use newsletter, private Telegram groups. For business owners, you can use newsletter to build that connection. Even before you drop a new product on your website, you launch anything, you can use newsletters to ask questions from your community members, to ask them what they want, or you can even use it as a means of survey to get feedback, right? And when later on you now announces such products or information to the general audience, your community member feels special. Oh, we've known about this before this person even share it on the platform. That's kind of feel special. The kind of you want to make your community member feel special, right? And also what you can do is to filter the crowd for you to know your real community members. You can do email lists, subscribe alone, and all of that stuff. Then moving on to influencer marketing, right? For product launches, attention is currency right now, but community is the bank that stores your currency. Influencer can be the key to launching your products when you use them as connectors, not just billboards. You don't just want to use a random influencer because they have the likes, or they are currently trending, or they have the numbers. You want to use influencers that align with your brand, influencers that align with your audience, or influencers that have the audience that you are trying to reach, so you don't waste your money. How to use influencer marketing for product launches. So we have different range of influencers. We have micro, we have mega influencers. Smaller influencers often have higher engagement and niche trust. Smaller influencers often have higher engagement and niche trust. Like I said, it's not about the numbers, right? Sometimes it's about how they can pull crowd, the engagement. There are so many influencers that have millions of followers, but when you check their engagement, it does not match up to their followers. The engagement is low. And we have smaller influencers too that have such a big engagement, right? They already built that community that they can introduce your product to. And you want to use alignment to choose influencers who genuinely use or need your product. Like I said, choose influencers that need or genuinely will use your products. You don't want to pick a random influencer because they are trending or they have the numbers. You want to use influencers that align with your own brand values, right? Then storytelling, ask them to tell stories, not just photos. We have seen so many influencers campaigns that have flopped because they do not infuse storytelling. It's not just an influencer taking product picture with the products. There is currently for examples, we have the Njiah campaign that recently happened. I think trended weeks ago here in Nigeria. The likes of Shanks and Don Jazzy, that was the influencer they were used. So what Njiah does was that if you order a ride, then you can be lucky that it's either Shanks and Don Jazzy that is going to pick you up. So, and the campaign went viral and blew off because these people align with what the message that they are trying to pass. They were able to tell a story around that campaign, right? And the campaign went viral. Another example is this Storm body spray. The influencers that were used was Tommy K, Vicky James, this guy Asha Kine, and they've been able to tell stories around it. They've been able to tell stories. Vicky James, when I think she did a viral, she saw a viral dress and she appreciated her team members by giving all of them what's it called, Storm body spray, and that also went viral because it was so genuine. The behind the scene, the work that all our staff have put in during that week. So there is a kind of connection to that. So, and we see how the different influencers have been able to tell a story around the products. And also collaborate on contents. Let them co-create the launch idea and your campaign. And also, okay, to round up, I would say whether you are launching a SaaS tool, a skincare line, or digital course, always starts with the community. Build community, share value. Like I always say, people buy from who they see all over and over again. People buy from who they trust. Use that community to gather research. What are their pain points? What do they need? How can you solve their problem? Launch with your community, not to them. And there's this business owner on TikTok too that is doing so great in that aspect. Shine On Cosmetics. She sells lip gloss earlier. She still sells lip gloss. Then she launched a new product, Shine On Snog, right? And while building that product, she was able to carry our audience along from the sourcing, behind the scene, storytelling, of our packaging materials and everything. Even before she launched, people already anticipated that what is this Snog, Shine On Snog is all about, right? That is how to build with your community and not to them. Behind the scene, if you are going to be selling skincare, your branding, take them along, build that community with them. And finally, community building is not a luxury. It is the engine behind sustainable marketing, where when paired with authentic influencer marketing, you have a formula for launches that go beyond hype and into impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Leah, for that insightful talk. And of course, we will be moving straight to the Q&A session. But before that, please, if you have a question for any of our speakers, feel free to drop your question in the chat or just simply raise up your hand and I'm going to unmute your mic. Everyone should talk. If you have the opportunity to talk, please do well to indicate and I'm going to unmute your mic. Now is your time to talk, please. If you have a question to any of our speakers, pose the question in the chat while I bring up the speakers for the Q&A session. All right, so while we are going through the Q&A session, please, the speakers should remember to drop your LinkedIn handles in the chat so that the participants can connect with you. Very, very important. Drop your LinkedIn handle. Then, of course, after the session, you can now drop the other social media handles. Please make sure you connect with each and every one of the speakers in the house today as they drop their LinkedIn handles in the chat. Any question from the audience? So I'm going through the participants to see if anybody has raised the hand. Any question? All right. So I'll go ahead with my own question. So my first question goes to Madam Ngumswirri Albertine, who actually talked about SEO tools to scale African business. So my first question goes thus. You actually shared some SEO tools, which I believe if you're a digital marketer here or there's anyone who really wants to improve on their SEO or improve on their website, they will actually need these tools. But out of these tools which you've mentioned, if a business is about to kick off, let's say we have a startup business and they actually want to get into SEO, they want to optimize their website to ensure they get the best ranking on the various search engine platforms. Which one of these SEO tools you mentioned will be recommended? Because I heard you talked about SEMrush, you talked about the Ahrefs and so on. So which one do you think you actually recommend for someone who doesn't really have the money to go for the premium SEO tools? Madam, can you get me? Your mic is still muted.
Yes, I can get you. Can you get me now?
Yes.
Okay. For someone that is just starting out in SEO and you cannot afford to pay someone to do that, or you cannot afford for the premium tools, like I mentioned during the presentation, keyword is very, very important. And there are various free ways that you can be able to collect keywords. As a beginner, the first thing you can do is to use the Google Keyword Planner, which is free. Secondly, you can also use your search engine. When you go on Google and you're looking for something, if you notice, they are going to propose you a completion of your sentences. Those proposals are keywords that other people are searching. So you can gather keywords from there. And when you finish searching, they'll also tell you others. They'll give you other topics that people are searching. For those that are on TikTok, a practical example of how you can gather keywords is when you go to a place like Creator Search Insights, where you see keywords, you have the probability to see gap. You see a graph that is red, indicating that people are searching for this, but not a lot of people are creating content on it. So as a beginner, you want to be able to, first of all, gather effective keywords, which you can use Google Planner, the Google Planner, Keyword Planner, which is free. You can use your search engine on the various sentence completion that these search engines are going to be proposing to you. Or better still, you can visit someone's website or a social media platform. You look at the various hashtags that they use on their posts or what they are talking about, the captions, then you know that those are possible keywords that you can use.
All right, thank you very much for that briefing. All right, my next question goes to Madam Leah, who actually expatiated on community building and influencer marketing. So during your talk, you made mention of several influencers which you actually know, and you actually had to refer some of them during your talk. So my question is, when choosing influencers to work with, what red flags should brands actually watch out for? What should they take into consideration during the process of selecting an influencer to work with? Madam Leah, did you get a question or I should take it all over?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Okay, please can you repeat the question? Thank you.
Yes, I mentioned that you actually talked about so many influencers which you actually made reference to during your talk or during your presentation. My question goes thus: when choosing influencers to work with, what red flags should brands or businesses watch out for? What are the things they
Okay,
need to take into consideration or the things they should look into before choosing an influencer to work with?
okay, thank you for that question. So I would say before, as a brand, before choosing an influencer, you need to understand what you want to achieve. What's the goal of the campaign, right? Is it to generate sales? Is it for traffic? Is it for awareness, right? And another thing to also look out for, once you know, okay, this is what I want to achieve with this campaign, then you begin to look for influencers that fit your core values. There are so many brands that are family oriented, and because of that, they cannot work with any influencers just because it does not relate with what they stand for, or they do not stand with their brand values. And another thing is there are so many influencers and with different niche. We have influencers that are for lifestyle, we have influencers, we have food influencers, we have fashion influencers. So if you want to sell, if your brand is selling fashion items, definitely you want to look for influencers in that industry, right? Look for influencers in that industry, and not just anyhow fashion influencers, but fashion influencers that stand for what your brand stand for. And also check their engagements. There are some brands that cannot work with influencers that have any controversy online. Maybe they are trending for some negative stuff. They do not align, so they will not even bother working with them. Then you want to check the influencer niche. What is their niche? Is it lifestyle? Is it fashion? Is it tech influencers? If my brand is laptop, I'm HP brand, I might probably want to look for tech influencers that can review the laptop, review, and also tell their audience about it. Because for a tech influencers, he or she will have more of 80, at least 80% of that person's, the influencer's audience will be tech enthusiasts, people that love gadgets, people that are looking out for the latest iPhone, the latest phone, because they trust them, they trust their recommendation. So that is what a brand should look out for. Their engagement, does their followers relate their, like the example that I give, we have influencers that have millions of followers, and I won't lie to you, some of these influencers buy followers at times. So you want to check out, does it match with their engagement, right? That's another thing you want to look out for as a brand. I hope this answer your questions.
Yes, you've really answered the question. But I have a follow-up question to that. I've equally noticed that there are so many influencers. I think when I'm talking about influencers, I'm equally taking into consideration people who really have good number of following online, like comedians as well. I noticed that there are so many of them, especially from Nigeria, that they do advertise products or brands that they know nothing about. I believe it's just for the money. Do you really think it's a good thing for these comedians or influencers who know brand be carrying out or be collaborating with another niche that is totally different from what they are doing?
Okay, so the criteria, I want to believe that the criteria for selecting such influencers is because the influencer has the brand audience. So a comedian that does skits does not stand for either fashion or lifestyle or tech, but has more of Gen Z as his followers, right? And my audience as a brand is Gen Z. I'm trying to reach the younger generation, and this influencer has my audience. So I think I want to believe that that's the reason why they selected such influencer. Not necessarily because, oh, this is a tech person. Maybe I want to advertise a smartphone, right? And I'm not going to a tech person. I'm not going to the likes of Kagan Tech or Fisayo Fosudo. I'm going for a skit maker. I might go for a skit maker because that person has my audience. The influencer has the audience that I'm trying to reach. So that could be the case sometimes. And sometimes it could be that they are ignorant of what they are doing.
All right. Thank you very much. So I hope that really have given more info to those who are willing to pick up influencers to collaborate with them in order to advertise their products or services. So make sure, as Madam Leah has said, make sure you go for an influencer that actually ties up with your niche, or make sure that the influencer you are going to, even if they don't belong to the same niche, but they don't really have some hiccups which might render your the activities you want to work, or the collaborations you want to have with them. All right, thank you very much, Madam Leah. So my next question goes to Mr. Nongki Derick. So you've really expatiated on content marketing and you've talked about market research. You really expatiated more on content marketing, but you did not really touch on market research to a greater extent. So we know that before creating content, you must go out there, look at various tools where you can get the materials to be able to put them together to be able to create a very good content. So what specific research tools or method do you actually recommend for African startups? That's people who are still getting into the industry. What research tools or method do you recommend for these African startups targeting both the local and the global market? What are the research tools you can recommend? Mr. Derick, your mic is muted. I don't know if you're available. All right, so while waiting for Mr. Derick to come up, I will ask my next question, and it goes to Madame Ngumswirri Albertine. So, you know, you've emphasized more on SEO tools, the various tools which can be used to create, to help you optimize your website. What is your own take on AI generated content for SEO? Is it really harmful or it's helpful in your own opinion?
Okay. Thank you for the question, Mr. Tamon. We all know that everything is getting digitalized, and it's either you adapt, just like they say, you never stop learning. In the digital field, you cannot say SEO that people were practicing 2 years ago is the same SEO that we practice today, or how the various social media platforms 2 months ago and the same today, they have new features and all the rest. So in the digital field, you first of all have to have in mind to adapt and always be in the learning state. The influx of AI in creating SEO content, it is not bad. AI should not actually replace our brains, but it should enable us to work smart. You know that with the different social media platforms and websites, when you create this content, you need to make sure that the content actually fits your niche. So for example, if I have a website that I'm managing for so many people and I intend to work smart, for you to write an article, website ranking. It's all about writing articles and getting people to come and read. So if I have to write 10 articles in a week and I have other things to do, it might take me a long time to think about it. But with the incoming of AI and with a very good prompt, I will go to any AI tool, I draft out the very good prompt, and then I get it. When I get the article, I will not just go and post it, because these AI tools are not supposed to replace my brain. I have to read it through to make sure that the article is written using the right tone, using the right keywords in my environment, and making sure that I use everyday examples that people in my culture and environment can relate to. So the incoming of AI enables us to work smarter and faster. So it is not about to if you use the content and make sure it is relatable to your product or services.
Thank you very much for that explicit expansion on that question. I don't know if Mr. Derick is ready for me. Let me check. All right, Mr. Derick is no longer with us. Let me check. All right, he's available. So I'm just going to bring him back. All right, Mr. Derick, can you get me? Mr. Derick? Mr.
Okay.
Derick?
Yes, sir.
Can you get me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So did you get my question, or I should take the question all over?
Yes, your question, if I got your question, what specific research tools or methods do we recommend for African startups targeting both local and global markets?
Yes.
Okay, for local insights, I recommend Job Pool and Premise apps. This will provide data on African consumer behavior, which will help you to tailor your content properly within the local market. And the very second option is the use of local Facebook groups and Twitter spaces have revealed that you can be able to get access to unfiltered conversations over time that will help you within the local African markets. And for broader and global market research tools, I would recommend Google Keyword Planner. You can make use of Ubersuggest, SimilarWeb. These tools helps identify search demand and competitor strategies. So they are highly recommended. It's also necessary to think with Google. It's necessary. You can use Google extension or Buzimo, double Z, Buzimo. They offer trends and insights by region. So these tools will offer, they help you to get trends and insights by region. And of course, making use of LinkedIn posts and groups. LinkedIn posts are very, very they're very, very insightful. They can help you to get insights into B2B markets. And most importantly, combine quantitative data with real conversations on the ground. That hybrid approach will give African startups a competitive edge.
All right.
I hope
thank you very much
to that.
Yes, thank you very much for that. All right, so my next question will be going to Madam Leah. We do have a lot of startups, Madam Leah. We have a lot of startups. Businesses are really struggling to get into the digital space. And you know, building a community these days is very, very difficult. For you to build a community even on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram, or any other platform, is very difficult these days, knowing fully well that people have different things they do online. They have their various focus. So basically, before you are able to build a community, you must have actually put together a niche. And of course, you only bring people who might be interested. So what are some low budget ways? What are the simplest ways? Because there are several ways you can do that. You can build communities through paid methods. You can build communities through free methods. So what are some of the low budget ways we can begin building a strong online community from scratch?
Okay, thank you for that question. Like you said, community building takes time. I would like to. It takes time, but I would advise that as a startup or as a small business owners, even if your mindset should not be when you have thousands of followers or thousands of sales. That's when you want to start building your community. I think building a community should be the foundation when you are starting, right? Even from your first followers, build a community. And the most affordable way to connect with your community is by creating engaging content. And like I shared in my during my presentation, that there are ways to build connection, and that's the main purpose of building a community. It's about the connection. You can share behind the scene as a startup. What's your thought process, your brainstorming session, your product launch, every step of the way? Carry them along, not until when you launch your products. Even before the product goes live, you want to create teasers, you want to ask them questions. If, okay, for instance, now if you are creating a product as a startup, you are creating a product for marketers, even before your product goes live, you can ask questions, build that connection. You can build connection through memes, sharing behind the scene content. You just have to go big on creating content that are relatable to your audience and the community that you are building. I think that's the most affordable way to build a community. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that explanation, for that answer. So my last question for the night goes to Mr. Derick. So, Mr. Derick, you've talked a lot about content marketing. You've talked a lot about market research. How can new businesses, we know there are several businesses that are trying to get to that level. We have a lot of competitors in the industry. And of course, getting to a particular level when it comes to content creation, when you don't have an idea as far as content creation is concerned or content marketing is concerned, you are bound to hire an agency to enable you get to that level, right? But now, if there are businesses that are really striving to get into the industry, they are trying to create content, but they don't really have the budget to hire an agency. What can these new businesses, what can they do, or what steps can they take in order to create content without necessarily hiring an agency?
What steps? Okay, so that's a great question right there, sir. I think that great research doesn't always have to require a big budget. Great research doesn't always have to require a big budget, yes, especially for startups. And here I feel practical but low-cost strategies that I will propose if you find yourself in these shoes. So you can use free tools. You can use free tools like Google Trends. You can make use of Facebook Audience Insights. I think Madame Ngumswirri Albertine had already mentioned that during her presentation, which I so much appreciate. And you can make use of, there's a trending tool currently. I think many of you know about Answer the Public. If this is your first time, you can go to www.answerthepublic.com to understand search behavior and interest. Join Facebook groups, online forums, and of course, WhatsApp communities where your target audience interacts. Observe their questions. Check on your pain points and language so that you can be able to tailor the tone of your marketing message to fit in to the kind of language that your market speaks or communicates in. Create simple surveys. You can use Google Forms. You don't necessarily have to go out for fancy search creator form tools or survey tools that will cost you heavy amounts of money when you're struggling to start up. So you can create simple surveys using Google Forms and offer small incentives, discounts, or free resources. And you can equally conduct informal interviews. You can use the privilege that you have as a startup to conduct informal interviews with potential customers to gather quantitative insights. I think a typical company that I've seen make use of this particular point is a company like Palmtech. Palmtech is a Nigerian-based petroleum, oil and gas company. They're also into auto parts and the rest. So you can conduct informal interviews with potential customers to gather qualitative or quantitative insights. The key is to listen more than you talk, because too much talk is cheap, especially when you're starting off. Real customer language and behavior are better than assumptions. So I think with these more focused points or key strategies, it will help you as a startup to minimize budget, especially when you don't have enough money to spend into conducting target market research, having you spend or you having you burn out in struggling to do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. I don't know if there are any questions in the chat. I think we are going to entertain some questions from the audience if they have. If you have any questions, please share your questions. And again, please, you have the opportunity to share your social media handles, LinkedIn only, in the chat as well, so people can connect with you. All right, you have that opportunity. Please, for those of you sharing links that are not what are required, we might restrict you from attending any other session with us, please. Make sure you only share the links that are necessary. Any other question? Any question? Any question? All right, so I want to thank the speakers for today for elaborating on the theme marketing research and product launch. Nongki Derick really went inside to give us more as far as content marketing and market research is concerned, while Madame Ngumswirri Albertine talked about SEO tools to scale your African business. And of course, Madame Leah concluded with community building and influencer marketing. One thing which I will say, as far as these speakers are concerned, is that they are all digital marketing tutors, which means that they have a deep understanding as far as the digital marketing space is concerned. And there was a reason why we decided to put them together on this same day, because they are all tutors. They know how to handle students. And of course, if you have any information in respect to digital marketing, if you're thinking of kicking off your career as far as digital marketing is concerned, they are the right persons to go to. So you can contact them, connect on their social media handles, send them DMs, and of course, they are going to reply you swiftly. All right. So thank you all for joining today's session. I remain Tamon Dieudonne. And of course, you can connect with me also on all my social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think I am on all social media platforms. You just have to type Tamon Dieudonne and you're going to get every detail about me. I'm going to be sharing the attendance sheet right now in the chat. Make sure you fill the attendance before you leave. We are going to leave the chat open for the next 10 minutes. So make sure you fill the attendance form. It's very, very important. So thank you all for joining us, and see you all tomorrow for our next session. Bye-bye for now.